When you sign a player from Ajax, you just know they're going to be technically gifted. The Dutch club has been home to some amazing talents in recent years, but unfortunately they're rarely able to keep a hold of them. But what if they hadn't had to sell their best players? Let's look at how Ajax could line up right now if they still had all the players they've sold as well as their current crop of stars. In goal is Jasper Cillessen. The Dutch number 1 began his career with NEC but would join Ajax in 2011 for €3 million. After winning 3 league titles with Ajax, Cillessen would join Barcelona in 2016 for an initial €13 million as Claudio Bravo departed the new camp. Unfortunately, chances have been limited in Spain, with German goalkeeper Marc-Andre ter Stegen starting pretty much every La Liga and Champions League game. Alas, Cillessen is still number 1 in our Ajax 11. Right back is Joel Veltman. The defender is one of 2 players in this side who are still with Ajax, although Veltman is believed to be attracting interest from Tottenham, where he could possibly link up with some former Ajax teammates, who we'll come to in a moment. A versatile player, Veltman can be used at right back and centre back, and gets in our team ahead of current teammate Kenny Tete, Fenerbahce's Gregory van der Wiel, and free agent Vernon Anita, although he was never really in contention. Sorry Vern. Centre half is Toby Alderweireld. Ajax had to cash in on Alderweireld when they could, or risk losing him on a free, instead selling him to Atletico Madrid for £6 million in 2013, when the Belgian had just 1 year remaining on his Ajax contract. We really began to see Alderweireld's talents when he moved to Southampton on loan, and now he's one of the Premier League's top centre-backs under Mauricio Pochettino at Tottenham, famous for his cross-field passing which is frighteningly accurate for a centre-half. There's none of this get it into Rose Edlark. He's alongside Jan Vertonghen. A former Ajax captain, Vertonghen and Alderweireld have one of the best centre-back partnerships around at White Hart Lane, or Wembley as it will be next season. But things could have been very different had Vertonghen opted to join Newcastle, which probably would have stunted the Belgian's development, or he could also have joined Arsenal, rejecting the North London club in 2012 to join Spurs. Unless his dream was to win the FA Cup, then I think Vertonghen's decision has now been justified. At left back we've got Daley Blind. You could put Daley Blind anywhere on the pitch and he'd probably be able to do a job for you, such as the Dutchman's versatility, which can be said for so many players who have come through the Ajax youth system. Son of Danny Blind, Daley would move to the Premier League in 2014 for £13.8 million when Louis van Gaal was in charge of Man United, and he's still an important player at Old Trafford, playing anywhere Jose Mourinho tells him to. We've got a midfield 3 beginning with Wesley SNEIJDER. Maybe a controversial selection at the age of 33, especially with the likes of Rachedly Bazoer having spent time at the Amsterdam Arena, but sometimes you need to have a little bit of experience in your side, and that's exactly what Wesley SNEIJDER brings, having just become the most capped player in Netherlands history, collecting his 131st cap against Luxembourg to surpass another former Ajax player, Edwin van der Sar. Next it's Davy Klaassen. The second current Ajax player in this side, Klaassen is the current skipper in Amsterdam, but he might not be there for much longer. The Ajax number 10 is a target for Everton, who are looking to bring the midfield at Goodison Park for around £20 million, after he hit double figures for the second season in a row in the Eredivisie. If we were making this team a few years ago, then we may have had to include Rafael van der Vaart and Nigel de Jong, which shows just how many talented players have played for Ajax. It's just a shame they can't keep them for long. Our third midfielder is Christian Eriksen. Another former Ajax man who made his way to Tottenham Hotspur, Eriksen is everything you'd expect from an Ajax Academy graduate, an intelligent and technically gifted footballer who could unlock any defence, having worked his way through the club's youth sides after joining from Danish side OB for €1 million. Tottenham paid just £11 million for Christian Eriksen, which is almost laughable considering how big an impact he's had since arriving in the Premier League. No doubt the best signing Tottenham made using the Gareth Bale money. We've got quite a few options for our front 3. Kasper Dolberg has had an incredible first season in the Ajax side despite still being a teenager, while Armin Younes' performances forced him into the Germany side. Then you've got Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, who has just returned to the side from Schalke, having scored more than 100 goals for the Dutch club during his first spell. Away from the current crop, there's Siem de Jong, who was a fine player at Ajax until Newcastle snapped him up and nearly killed him. But we're going to begin our front 3 with Arkadiusz Milik. The Polish striker spent 2 seasons with Ajax, one of which was on loan from Bayer Leverkusen. with Milik scoring 32 league goals in 52 appearances for the Amsterdam club. Last summer, he moved to Napoli for €35 million as the Italian club looked to replace Gonzalo Higuain. An anterior cruciate ligament injury derailed Milik's Serie A season, but at 23, expect the striker to show exactly why Ajax demanded so much money for him in years to come. Next, we've got ZLATAN IBRAHIMOVIC. At 35, he's the oldest member of this team, having joined Ajax way back in 2001 from Malmo when he was just a 19-year-old. Fast forward 16 years and ZLATAN has scored goals in every country he's played in: Holland, Italy, Spain, France, and most recently England with Manchester United, maturing like a fine wine. Back when he was with Ajax, he was merely a bottle of Lambrini, whereas now he's a glorious bottle of Malbec. Actually, that's probably a diss. He was a lot better than Lambrini in 2001. And finally, it's Luis Suarez. You can talk all you like about Luis Suarez's discrepancies on the pitch, from the biting incidents, that's plural, there were more than one, to the whole racial abuse of Patrice Evra. And while we're not trying to brush those incidents under the carpet, it can't be denied what a fabulous footballer Luis Suarez is. Before joining Liverpool, Suarez captained Ajax, scoring 81 league goals in 110 appearances, then netted 69 Premier League goals in the same number of games for Liverpool. His numbers are even more startling at Barcelona, finding the net 85 times in 97 La Liga outings. One of the best players to play for Ajax in recent memory, Suarez is without a doubt the star of this team. So that's an Ajax starting 11 if they kept their best players. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and make sure you check out Footy Feed for all the latest transfer news and gossip.